Chapter 9: Conscious Dimensional Navigation. In the boundless expanse of reality, it is not space we traverse, but the depths of our own awareness. Clovis, consciousness, the intangible essence of our existence, is more than a passive observer. Of the universe, it is an active participant in shaping reality. Within temporal-subjection theory, TST, consciousness operates as a navigator, moving between dimensions of time and space, aligning with specific frequencies of reality. This chapter explores the speculative mechanics of dimensional navigation, revealing how consciousness interacts with the universe's fundamental structure and challenges our understanding of reality. Consciousness as a quantum navigator. To move between dimensions is not to leap across space, but to shift the lens through which we perceive. Clovis. Our consciousness exists in a state of potentiality, much like a quantum wave function. Rather than being bound to a single dimension, it can perceive and influence multiple dimensions simultaneously. Through focus and intention, this potential collapses into a singular experience. The act of perceiving, therefore, is not passive but a dynamic interaction where consciousness defines the dimension it inhabits. Primary mechanism in the framework of TST. Consciousness is not passively embedded within a static universe. It actively navigates and reshapes it. One of the most compelling mechanisms that could account for this is what we call dimensional resonance. Scientific basis, resonant systems, and energy states. Physics already supports the idea that systems resonate at different frequencies depending on their energy configuration. In quantum mechanics, particles exist in discrete energy states, and transitions between these states occur via absorption or emission of specific energy quanta. Similarly, string theory posits that fundamental particles are one-dimensional strings vibrating at unique frequencies, each determining the properties of the particle observed in space and time. TST extends this idea metaphorically but also meaningfully by treating dimensions as resonant layers of reality. These layers are not spatial in the traditional sense, but frequency domains, or informational strata that arise through the observer's entanglement with the quantum fabric of reality. Consciousness as a resonant field. In this model, consciousness is more than a byproduct of neural activity. It is a field-like phenomenon capable of changing its vibrational state. This vibrational signature determines the set of dimensions, or experiential realities, that consciousness can tune into or collapse into being. That means resonance equals dimensional access, just as a radio must be tuned to the right frequency to receive a station. Consciousness must tune itself to resonate with the dimension it seeks to perceive or interact with, and with that we treat time. As emergent, TST proposes that time is not a fundamental constant, but rather an emergent quality shaped by how consciousness moves across these dimensions. In higher or lower vibrational states, the rate or flow of time may appear to dilate, contract, or even fragment entirely. Mechanisms of frequency shifting. These shifts in consciousness, what could be called dimensional retuning, are most commonly observed in altered states. Meditation reduces neural noise and synchronizes brainwave activity, especially theta and gamma states, possibly allowing access to non-local consciousness. Deep emotional resonance. Emotion is an energy with coherent, measurable frequency patterns. Strong emotions may function like a tuning fork for consciousness. Rhythmic patterns. Practices like drumming, chanting, or dancing synchronize brain-body rhythms, potentially shifting the vibratory state of the conscious field. Such practices may modulate the electromagnetic or quantum coherence of brain activity, allowing a kind of tuning into other bands of reality. Dimensions where the physical constants or the subjective flow of time differ from the norm. Scientific parallels to support this hypothesis. Neural oscillations. Consciousness correlates with synchronized brainwave activity across various frequencies delta to gamma. These oscillations govern perception, memory, and self-awareness. Quantum brain models, theories like OR-core orchestrated objective reduction, by Penrose and Hameroff suggest that microtubules in neurons may exploit quantum coherence, allowing for a bridge between consciousness and the fundamental structure of reality. Holographic principle. If the universe is holographic in nature, as some interpretations of quantum gravity suggest, then dimensions may emerge from encoded frequency patterns on a lower dimensional boundary. Consciousness could potentially decode these patterns by resonance. Implications in TST. Consciousness shapes the observable world. TST postulates that reality is not fixed. It is subjectively processed by consciousness through time-dependent filters. Dimensional resonance supports this by suggesting that consciousness does not travel through space and time. It shifts alignment with different layers of space-time through vibrational attunement. Each alignment brings about a different perception of time, space, and even causality. Thus, the observer literally shapes the unfolding of their universe based on the frequency domain. Their consciousness is entrained too. Dimensional resonance within TST proposes a model where dimensions are resonant layers of reality. Consciousness is an oscillating field that aligns with these layers. Altered states via meditation, emotion, and rhythm function as frequency modulators. Time and space are not universal constants, but emergent from the state of consciousness. By this view, understanding the universe is not just a task of measuring out there, but of tuning in. Here, science, in partnership with inner experience, becomes a fuller path toward truth. Consciousness is not just in time, it's what gives time meaning. Mechanics of dimensional resonance. Dimensional resonance isn't merely a poetic idea, it is a speculative mechanism through which consciousness may interface with various layers of reality. These layers or dimensions are not distant physical realms, but informational frequency bands that become accessible when consciousness tunes itself accordingly to intentionally shift resonance. Several interwoven practices support the alignment of consciousness with desired dimensional states. 1. Setting intention. Every dimensional alignment begins with clarity of will. Intention acts as a directional force vector within the field of consciousness. Whether the aim is inner peace, deeper understanding, healing, or expanded perception, the conscious articulation of that aim stabilizes the vibratory target. Intention is the blueprint. Resonance builds the bridge. Much like how a tuning fork vibrates in response to a matching frequency, consciousness begins orienting itself toward realities that harmonize with the underlying intent. 2. Emotional anchoring. Emotion is energy in motion, coherent, charged, and resonant. Certain emotional states serve as stabilizing anchors that help consciousness lock into compatible dimensional frequencies. Gratitude, compassion, and love are high coherence states that appear to enhance mental clarity and perceptual sensitivity. These emotions generate measurable electromagnetic patterns in the heart and brain, as shown in studies on heart-brain coherence, possibly functioning as bioresonant transmitters. In the TST model, emotions act as phase-locking mechanisms, harmonizing the consciousness field with the dimensional band it seeks to engage. 3. Entering altered states. Altered states of consciousness reduce the interference of habitual mental noise and entrain the brain into non-ordinary rhythms. These states can be achieved through deep meditation, rhythmic drumming or movement, binaural beats or isochronic tones, and breathwork and transinduction techniques. Such methods slow down or reorganize brainwave activity, often from beta to theta or gamma, temporarily unbinding consciousness from the default temporal narrative. In this state, consciousness becomes more fluid, less constrained by linear perception, and more able to retune itself to other dimensional structures for observing feedback. The final component of the dimensional resonance mechanism is feedback recognition. Shifts in dimensional alignment are rarely dramatic. They unfold subtly. It's often encoded in synchronicities, seemingly meaningful coincidences that defy probability. Intuitive insights, sudden knowing or clarity that arises without logical derivation. Perceptual anomalies, changes in the felt sense of time, space, or internal silence. Dream phenomena, lucid or highly symbolic dream content pointing toward. Dimensional fluctuation. These moments are echo signals that suggest successful resonance with an alternate. Pattern of reality. Paying attention to them refines future alignment and strengthens the feedback loop between consciousness and cosmos. In TST, consciousness is not a passive spectator, is an active participant in the emergence of space-time. Dimensional resonance proposes that by tuning intention, emotional state, mental rhythm, and feedback awareness, one can subtly modulate the frequency of their experience, stepping into timelines or realities that are otherwise invisible to ordinary perception. This does not defy science, it extends it. Like quantum systems that shift when observed, reality responds to the observer's state of being. Consciousness, in this speculative framework, co-generates the architecture of reality. Through resonance, you are not merely a traveler of worlds. You are their architect. Clovis.